Hello friends, now in this presentation we are going to discuss about the number of safety officer which is required in the industry. That is a very interesting and important question for the persons who are directly or indirectly connected to the safety department or to the safety, health and environment department of any type of factory or the industry. So mostly many persons are not knowing about these number of safety officers, and many persons are knowing about this number of safety officers requirement as far as the requirement is given under this section 40B of Factory Act 1948 only. But if you refer the latest notification which is published on the 7th March 2019 by the Industries, Energy and Labor Department, then you may have a clear idea regarding the number of safety officer requirement in industry. What exactly this requirement? Then you can understand how many safety officers are required in industry after these notifications. So there is a drastic change in the requirement of the safety officers, and that is why nowadays people are thinking about to do the qualification requirement, to satisfy the qualification requirement for becoming a safety officer. So the qualifications and the experience is we have already discussed in Maharashtra Safety Officer Rule 1982. That is, minimum qualification is required for the safety officer is degree in engineering or technology plus 2 years experience at supervisory capacity in the factory, or BSc in physics or chemistry, or diploma in engineering plus 5 years experience at supervisory level. So if you are possessing the degree in engineering or technology, then you must have at least 2 years working experience in the factory at supervisory level. And if you are possessing the BSc in physics or chemistry or diploma in engineering, then you must have the experience of 5 years in the factory at supervisory level. Plus, you must have the diploma in industrial safety. Even though you are having the degree in engineering on technology plus 2 years experience, the necessary condition is that you must have the diploma in industrial safety from the central government or from the government institutes or the government approved private institutes. Then after qualification or qualified criteria, you must know how many safety officers are required in that particular industry. Then you can have the idea regarding the requirement of safety officer in a specific MIDC in a specific region depending on these notifications. So let us discuss in detail what exactly this notification is. So this is the reference for these notifications. The same reference, that is section 40B of the Factory Act 1948, and it is the government notifications which is published in the 1982. So we already studied the Factory Act in detail in one of the video, and we have already studied the Maharashtra Safety Officers Rule 1982 in another video. So with reference to these two parameters, we can easily understand what exactly the requirement of the number of safety officers in our factory. So this is the new notifications or the notifications published in 2019. So with reference to this notification, the first point is in respect of every factory other than those referred to in the paragraph 2 and 3, wherein 1000 or more workers but not exceeding 2000 workers are ordinarily employed, number of safety officer as 1. So if your factory is having 1000 workers or more than 1000 but less than 2000 worker, then you need at least one safety officer. If the factory is having more than 2000 workers but not exceeding 5000 workers, then the safety officer requirement is 2. So you must have at least 2 safety officers in your factory if you are having more than 2000 but less than 5000 workers. And if you are having more than 5000 workers in your factory, then the safety officer's requirement is 3. So from this first point of this notification, you can understand if you are having 1000 workers, then at least one safety officer. If you are having more than 2000 workers, then you must have at least 2 safety officers. And if you are having more than 5000 workers, then you must have at least 3 safety officers. So this is similar conditions under the section 40B of 1948. But this is regarding the first point, and this is apart from the paragraph 2 and 3. So let us see what exactly these second point and third point, where the number of safety officer requirement is different one. Now this is the second point of this notification or the paragraph of notification. In respect of every MAH factory, that is major accident hazard factory. So we have already discussed in one of the video what exactly these MAH unit are and what are the hazards present in the MAH units, what are the rules and regulations connected to these MAH factories. Now I am going to discuss the condition only, that if your factory is MAH factory, that is major accident hazard factory, which is defined in clause D of rule 2 of Maharashtra Factory SEMA rule 2003, that is control of industrial major accident hazard SEMA rule. So with reference to this SEMA rule 2003, rule 2D, the MAH factory is defined. So with reference to this definition, with reference to this sub-rule and rule of this SEMA rule 2003, if your factory is MAH factory and the factory is having dangerous operations under schedule 7, then schedule 15, schedule 20, 21, 23, then 26 declared under the rule 114 of the Maharashtra Factory Rule 1963. So if your factory is having the dangerous operations, this is clearly mentioned in these schedules with reference to the rule number 114 of MFR 1963, then the number of safety officer requirement is different one than the first paragraph, because in the first paragraph we have clearly discussed the number of safety officer requirement is 1 when the number of workers are 1000. If it is more than 2000, then the safety officer requirement is 2, and if it is more than 5000, the safety officer requirement is 3. It means in this case your factory is not major accident hazard factory, your factory is not having the dangerous operations with reference to the rule number 115 of MFR 1963, and that is why these are the safety officer requirement, that is 1, 2 and 3 only when you are having 1000, 2000 plus and 5000 plus worker respectively. Now for this MH factory and the dangerous operations conditions, you must have minimum one safety officer when you are having 50 or more workers. So that is a drastic change in the requirement of these one safety officers. So in the previous case, in the paragraph 1, that condition is minimum one safety officer for 1000 workers. Now it is for the 50 workers or 50 plus workers, but not exceed 500 workers. In a similar way, if you are having more than 500 workers, then you must have at least 2 safety officers, and if you are having 1000 plus workers, then you must have 3 safety officers. If you are having 2000 plus workers, then you must have 4 safety officers, and if you are having 5,000 plus workers, then you must have 5 safety officers. So all these conditions are given. That is from 50 plus to 5,000 plus. The safety officer requirement is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So these are the different safety officers requirement, or the number of safety officer requirement as far as the MH factory and dangerous operations are concerned. Now let us discuss what is the third para of these notifications. So this third para is related to the hazardous processes. So in respect of the factories where the hazardous process as defined in clause CB of section 2 of Factory Act 1948 and 63 of 1948 is carried out. So if your factory is possessing these hazardous processes which is defined under the section 2 CB of Factory Act 1948, then the safety officer requirement is different than the first and second para. Now if you are having 250 or 250 plus workers but less than 500 workers, then the safety officer requirement is at least 1. If you are having 500 plus but less than 1000 workers, then you must have at least 2 safety officers. And if you are having 1000 plus workers but less than 2000 workers, then you must have at least 3 safety officers. If you are having 2000 plus but less than 5000 workers, then you must have 4 safety officers. If you are having 5000 plus, then you must have at least 5 safety officers. So this is the requirement of number of safety officer as far as the factory is concerning with the hazardous process, or factory is having the hazardous process. So these are the main 3 conditions in this notification where it is clearly mentioning the number of safety officer requirement as far as the number of workers are concerned, but with the condition, that is the hazardous process condition in paragraph 3, then the MH factory and dangerous operations condition in paragraph 2, and there is no hazardous process, no dangerous operations or no MH factory, then the point 1 or paragraph 1.